completely honestly, he may prevent me from coming and speaking there sometime. So what, what I'll say is you would think that it's a great question. You want to write it up. That is fantastic. A couple of things. One is you would think that in a crisis like this where, oh, we're the essential workers and we love our essential worker. I noticed that in Governor Cuomo's, when he talks about these hardworking state employees, as always, he talks only about firemen, policemen, and healthcare workers. And I keep tweeting out every time he's doing one of these. Oh, how about the 8,000 diversity coordinators? Could we give them, could we at least cut their salaries during this crisis? No, it's ridiculous how much. You would think that in a crisis, we would determine, diversity counselors, can't eat it. doesn't cure a disease, isn't really helping anything. You would think they'd be the first to go. Unfortunately, I mean, if Trump loses, whoa, it's going to be Biden and, who knows, Kamala Harris, pedal to the metal, all you're going to have. We're going to be funding diversity counselors from now until the end of time. But you reminded me that one thing that makes me very optimistic that I will be able to resume my college speeches in the fall is that I didn't know this. I don't have a lot of friends who have kids who are applying to college right now, but I talked to one of them earlier this week and he said, Ann, you have no idea what's happening at the colleges. All these colleges, they're not saying whether they're gonna start up again in the fall. Kids are saying, well, fine, I'm gonna take a year off. Dad's not gonna pay $200,000 in tuition so that I can sit in my room and take classes online. It's kind of exposing that maybe we don't need to go to college at all. College is an experience. It's a 4-year vacation. It's a blast. You can learn some stuff along the way, but the main thing is being there with fellow students and the sports. And college is a blast. It was the best time of my life. I wish I could just go back and do it over and over and over again. So kids aren't wanting to go. Now I'm hearing that kids are getting off wait lists. They have blasted through the wait lists. Colleges are begging students to come this fall. I bet I was just, when he was going through all this, how colleges are going to be in trouble. They're going to be anxious to reopen. And point one, I imagine a lot of them, as the New York Times and MSNBC were going after Jerry Falwell Jr. for opening up Liberty University, a lot of these college presidents across America were saying, oh no, please let it work. Please let it work. We've got to reopen in the fall or we will have no jobs, no money. They're being sued, by the way, a lot of these colleges because they're refusing to refund room and board. I mean, I can all kind of understand prorating the board or I don't know, maybe the room, but the board, they're not paying for the food anymore. Anyway, I digress. So I'm thinking the college campuses are going to be very, very anxious to restart. And as I said at the beginning, there's absolutely no reason for them not to restart. If they have some really old professors, I mean, some of these schools do, some emeritus types, okay, you're not going to be able to take a class from that guy until your sophomore or junior year. He's going to stay off campus. But young, healthy college kids, there is virtually no danger to you from coronavirus. There's virtually no danger to anyone under the age of 45. Very little danger from 45 to age 65 unless you have one of these. Well, and also very little danger for anyone who doesn't have hypertension, is obese, or have diabetes. I mean, we have the numbers on this now. The Journal of what is it, the American Medical Association's JAMA, I'm sure you've heard of that famous publication among doctors, very well respected. They just came out with a study, I was tweeting, that they say 94, and there are other figures put it at 97%. 94% of the coronavirus deaths, or Wuhan virus deaths to be precise, in New York City, the heart of this, right, either 94 or 97%, the ones who died had at least one of the comorbidities. Most of them hypertension, obesity, and diabetes. Very few young people, very, very few young college students have that. There is no reason not to open colleges. There's absolutely no reason not to be opening the grade schools. That's unbelievable that they're not opening the grade schools. Again, if you have an older teacher, okay, that teacher is going to stay home. If you have a teacher who's obese, that teacher is going to stay home. But people know that. They can protect themselves. Now it turns out there have been a couple of studies out of, one out of Australia and I think one out of Japan. It turns out young people, you can't even transmit the virus. You're at no danger personally and you're giving it to no one. You may have seen that article, Switzerland is allowing grandkids to go hug their grandparents now because it turns out they don't transmit the virus. So I know the media wants to keep us all hysterical, but my guess is college presidents are going to want to open up again.
We say, and I ask you to say with us, lift up your voices in this great meeting in the heart of England, and to all the world a message: England lives and marches on.